On the surface, it's just a press release. A company hires a new executive to join its board. Happens all the time. But sometimes a single new hire isn't just a personnel decision. It's a strategic weapon in a high-stakes war for control. And that is exactly what's going on at CoStar Group.
So that really gets us to the heart of it, right? Why are we even talking about this? Because this appointment isn't about a welcome basket and a new name on the door. It's a chess move. It's a defensive play and a public statement all rolled into one. And to really get why, we need to break down who this new guy is. And more importantly, why now?
Okay, so let's start with the basics. This whole story kicks off with a single announcement and a new face showing up in the boardroom. So, back in March of 2026, CoStar puts out the news Nana Banerjee is their new independent director. This bumps up the board size to 9 people, and now 8 of them are independent. Sounds pretty standard, right? A normal corporate announcement? Well, let's take a closer look at who he is. And this is where it gets really interesting. You look at his resume, and it's like he was handpicked to fit CoStar's story. He was the CEO of the company that runs the Weather Channel, which is a massive data operation. And just look at that second bullet point. Deep expertise in data, AI, and advanced analytics. For a data company like CoStar, this isn't just a good hire, it's a statement. And here's the official word from CEO Andy Florence. Now, you gotta read between the lines here. Notice the key words, proven strategy and profitable growth. Trust me, that's not just corporate jargon. That language is aimed like a laser at the company's biggest critics, basically saying, we know what we're doing and we're not changing a thing. Which, brings us to the real story here. Because this new hire, it didn't just happen in a vacuum. Nope. It happened right in the middle of a very public, very nasty fight with some really powerful investors. So meet the other main characters in this drama, D.E. Shaw and Third Point. These guys are what we call activist investors. And that means they don't just buy stock and hope it goes up. They buy huge chunks of a company specifically to get inside and force massive changes. And right now, CoStar is square in their crosshairs. And this slide just lays out the battlefield perfectly. On one side, you have the investors. They look at Homes.com, CoStar's huge bet on residential real estate, and they see a giant money pit. Their demand is simple and brutal. Shut it down and fire the board. On the other side, you have CoStar, whose vision is the total opposite. They see Homes.com as the future of the company, and they are defending it to the death. And just so we're clear, this isn't a new fight. This has been brewing for over a year. You can see it here. Back in April 2025, CoStar tried to quiet things down by shaking up its board a little, but it didn't work. By early 2026, the activists were back, and they were louder than ever. And that, right there, is the moment Banerjee gets the call, just a month later. So when you see that timeline, you realize this isn't some last-minute panicked reaction. Not at all. This is just one move in a very deliberate, multi-step defensive strategy by CoStar. Let's just break down CoStar's playbook because it's actually pretty clever. It's a 3-part defense. First, they just flat out say, no, we're not selling Homes.com. Step 2, they make those earlier board changes in 2025 to look like they're listening. And then Step 3, they bring in Banerjee, the data and AI expert, to basically double down on their message. We are a tech company and this is a smart, data-driven bet. He's one of us. And of course, the independent board chair, Louise Sams, frames it just like that. This statement is pure corporate messaging. It's designed to make this whole thing look like it's not a reaction to angry investors, but just part of a natural, ongoing evolution. It's a masterclass in trying to control the story. But stories and PR spin only get you so far. To really understand why this fight is so vicious, you just have to follow the money. And first, let's just get a sense of scale here. We're not talking about a small company. CoStar pulled in over $3.2 billion in revenue in 2025. There is a huge amount of money at stake here. Now, if you're CoStar's management, this is the first chart you show to shareholders. Look at that top-line growth. It's fantastic. Revenue shot up almost 19% in a single year. From this angle, the company looks incredibly healthy. But this is the chart that gives those activist investors heartburn. While all that revenue was pouring in, the actual profit, the bottom line, just fell off a cliff. From $139 million down to just $7 million. And why? because of all the money they're pouring into Homes.com. This is the investors' Exhibit A. But CoStar has its comeback ready. They come right back and say, yeah, the investment is huge, but look at the trend. The losses are already getting smaller, shrinking from $361 million in 2024 down to $230 million in 2025. The message here is clear. Be patient, trust the process. We're already turning the corner. And that brings it all back to the main event, this central conflict, the future of Homes.com and CoStar's grand plan to actually make money from it. So here is the tightrope that CoStar is trying to walk. They are absolutely refusing to sell, so they're doubling down on the whole strategy. But at the very same time, they're signaling to Wall Street, hey, we hear your concerns about all the spending, and they're pulling back on the checkbook to show there's a real plan to get to profit. And they're not just talking about it, they put a massive number on it. The plan is to slash the net investment in Homes.com by $300 million in 2026 alone. I mean, that's not a little trim, that's a huge shift, designed to prove they can be disciplined. And this right here is the roadmap they've given to investors. This is the promise. They're asking for patience. After that big cut in 2026, they're saying it's still going to take another 3 to 4 years before the project is actually profitable. This is the long-term game they're trying to sell. Which brings us right back to where we started with Nana Banerjee. His appointment isn't really about his resume. It's a calculated move to add a stamp of approval to this exact long-term plan. It's all about convincing Wall Street that the people in charge are tech visionaries, not just executives burning through cash. So the big question is, in this high-stakes war for the future of CoStar, will this one chess move be enough to win?